Hello everyone, welcome to the Departamento Loratorum. My name is Max, and today I'd like to talk to you about the Eldar. You all voted and let me know that you wanted a video on Aeldari Aspect Warriors, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. If you're upset because your chosen topic didn't win, don't worry, I'll be doing a video on all of these in the future. There's definitely more than enough fun and interesting Eldar lore to make videos on. The Asuryani, or Craftworld Eldar, are famed and feared across the galaxy, for both the skill of their psykers and the prowess of their soldiers. These soldiers are the Aspect Warriors, dedicated Aeldari who have devoted themselves to the path of the warrior. Every Eldar on a craft world is on something called a path. These are, basically, a walk of life that an Eldar will completely devote a portion of their long lifespan to in order to focus their naturally intense minds and personalities, in order to prevent the insane levels of hedonism found in the latter days of the Aeldari Empire and modern Kamara from occurring on a craft world. An individual will spend decades, even centuries, perfecting their skills on a path, before moving on to another one. While on a path, the Eldar will adopt an appropriate mentality, altering their personality to better channel and make use of the required skills in each path. An Eldar can call back to the knowledge they gained from a previous path, using it to aid them in their current endeavor, albeit not as efficiently as when they were on that path. For example, the leaders of Guardian squads, the civilian militia that make up the bulk of Eldar armies, are often former Aspect Warriors, using the memory of their combat skills to help their civilian brethren survive in the crucible of war. As previously mentioned, disciples of the Path of the Warrior are known as Aspect Warriors, each devoting themselves to a different facet, or aspect, of war, as symbolized by Cain, the Eldar god of war and murder. Each of these aspects was created millennia ago by an ancient and revered hero called a Phoenix Lord, and the Aspect Warriors under them will look to them for leadership and inspiration, emulating their chosen style of combat. Aspect Warriors are based out of shrines and led by an Exarch, an Eldar that has become lost on the path of the warrior, unable to change their mindset and personality to accommodate anything except for war and bloodshed. They're regarded with a mix of fear, respect, and pity by other Eldar, for they are some of the best warriors in the galaxy, but that is all they will ever be able to be for the rest of their long lives. Each individual Exarch has a history going back millennia. When an Exarch is killed, their armor and spirit stones, which house the souls of all the previous Exarchs, are brought back to their aspect shrine. When a new Eldari puts on the armor, their soul and experience merges with the previous Eldars already within the spirit stone, allowing the combined spirit of all past and current Exarchs to live again in a new body. The Phoenix Lords function the same way, although given that they are all ancient heroes of the Eldar, their personality is stronger than that of even the mightiest Exarch. As disciples of Cain, the Aspect Warriors also have a role in the summoning of his avatar. When the time for war is near, and the stirrings of the god of murder can be felt throughout the Wraithbone of the Craft world, an Aspect Warrior is chosen by the Farseers to play the role of the young king. When the avatar of Cain is ready to be summoned, the bronze doors to its chamber at the heart of the Craft world swing open, and a bright, burning light fills the room. Into this, the young king strides, to act as a sacrifice to bring forth the avatar of Cain. Sealed within the chamber for hours, maybe days, the screams of the young king are only drowned out by the eerie rumbles emanating from the room. Finally, the doors are blown open by psychic force, and the avatar of Cain strides out to lead the Eldar to war. The fate of the individual called to be the young king is unknown, for even the Farseers will not say if they become part of the greater spirit of Cain, or if their soul is consumed utterly as a sacrifice to the god of murder. There are many different types of Aspect Warriors, some limited to a single craft world or even a single shrine on a craft world. Each group of them also have a specific color scheme, although they may incorporate some elements of their native craft world's colors onto their armor. 9 of the aspects are significant enough to have a presence on almost every craft world, with Biel-Tan maintaining the most aspect shrines, understandable given their militaristic and expansionist nature. Each of the different types of Aspect Warriors utilize unique combat styles and have their own sacred weapons and equipment. They will focus on one specific style of combat, excelling within that sphere, but if forced to fight in any other manner, they will struggle. There is an exception to this, however, and we'll be starting our look through the different types of Aspect Warriors with them, the Dire Avengers. Embodying Cain's unending thirst for vengeance, the Dire Avengers are the most common of all the Aspect Warriors. Furious in attack and immobile on defense, they are the most tactically flexible of all the aspects. Armed with their shuriken catapults, they often form the core of Eldar armies, acting in whatever role is the most needed in order to secure victory, and their skills and experience have turned the tide in many battles over the millennia. The sight of their white and blue armored forms is a stirring sight on battlefields throughout the galaxy for their beleaguered Eldari combatants. Their Phoenix Lord is Asurman, the Hand of Acheron, first among the Phoenix Lords, survivor of the fall of the Eldar. He is the founder of the Path of the Warrior, and thus of all modern Aspect Warriors in some way. Asurman's legend is so great that even the other races of the galaxy know and respect his name and his skill with his shuriken catapult Bloody Twin and his Sword of Asur. A peerless warrior and commander, his very presence inspires other Eldar on the battlefield, infusing them with his valor and tactical acumen. The Dire Avengers are the only Aspect Warriors to not get an updated model as of this video, still using a 4th edition kit. They look decent, but I hope we'll get a new release for them soon. Acerman, like all of the Phoenix Lords, is rocking a brand new model, and he looks fantastic. I also do have to note that he does have a banner with his face on it, which is just so perfect and 40k. But while Acerman is the most respected of the Phoenix Lords, this next group of Aspect Warriors has a much more contentious founder, the Striking Scorpions. Representing Kane's unbridled wrath, the Striking Scorpions are ambush hunters, patiently slinking towards an enemy position, using every available hiding place to avoid detection, before bursting out of cover in a rush of green armor to slaughter their foes in a flurry of chain blades. Over the millennia, the lesser races of the galaxy have learned to keep a wary eye on the undergrowth. For the instant they let their guard down, the Striking Scorpions will be upon them. The Phoenix Lord of the Striking Scorpions is the taciturn Karandras, the Shadow Hunter, who replaced the original founder Ara after he fell to darkness, slaying Acerman and fleeing into the darkest corners of Aeldari civilization. He most likely became Drazar, champion of the Dark Eldar Incubi. Karandras then took over command of the Striking Scorpions, and tempered their original brutality with the patience of the Hunter. He often lies dormant for decades or centuries before arriving unexpectedly on the battlefield with his Scorpion Claw, Ara's Bane, and his biting blade Isirmathil when things seem their darkest. The Striking Scorpions are not the only melee-focused aspect, and this next group may be even more skilled at close-range combat. The Howling Banshees. Inspired by the Banshees of Eldar legend, the Howling Banshees are harbingers of woe. Their Banshee masks are not just battle helms, but psychosonic amplifiers that can broadcast their screams to stun an enemy, allowing the Banshees to move in with their power swords ready for the swift, athletic melee combat they favor. Their armor is cream-colored with red and green accents and a sculpted female form. Howling Banshees are not all female, there are male members as well, but all will use the same fighting style and armor in honor of their founder and Phoenix Lord Jane Zar, the Storm of Silence. The first Aspect Warrior to be raised up by Acerman, Jane Zar is the most active of all the Phoenix Lords, leading her Howling Banshees in engagements across the galaxy. Using her weapons, the three-bladed throwing star Janus Mor, or Silent Death, and the Blade of Destruction, or Zai Morin, to deal swift destruction to her foes. But the speed of this next group of Aspect Warriors puts even the Howling Banshees to shame. The Swooping Hawks. Falling upon their foes from the sky using their winged jetpacks, known as the Swooping Hawk Wings, the Swooping Hawks take their name from mythological hunting birds, said to contain the soul of a murdered Eldar that vengefully hovers above their killer. Lightly armored compared to other Aspect Warriors, their mobility and skill with their las blasters more than makes up for their lessened protection. Their light blue armor and white helmets are a common and feared sight on the battlefield, with their aerial superiority allowing them to see and disrupt a foe's movements. Their Phoenix Lord is Baharoth, the Cry of the Wind, the youngest and most vibrant of those ancient Eldari heroes. He has fought in many battles of the millennia, wielding the shining blade said to have been forged by one of the daughters of Vol, and his las blaster, Fury of the Tempest. Despite his valor and speed, he has been slain many times over the millennia, and it is said that his final death will be at the legendary Rahana Dandra, the final battle between Chaos and the Materium that will see the end of both. Not all Aspect Warriors move swiftly about the battlefield, however. Some prefer to deal death from a single position. The Dark Reapers. The most menacing of the Aspect Warriors, with their skull masks and intimidating Reaper launchers, the Dark Reapers embody Kane's role as a destroyer. Their armor incorporates a complex set of interlocking plates, making them durable and stable while they deliver precise destruction from afar. With their distinct black and white armor and purple weapon, they are a memorable sight in any Eldar army, and many have learned to respect and fear their accuracy. It is said that their exarchs can go an entire war without missing a single shot. The grim Phoenix Lord and founder of the Dark Reapers is Mogan Ra, the Harvester of Souls and brother of Baharoth. He truly is a vision of death in his bone armor. A master of ranged combat in all his forms, his preferred weapon is the Mogatar, or Harvester, a massive Reaper cannon with an added star metal scythe blade at the front. Originally thought to be the only survivor of the craft world of Altansar, after it was consumed by the newly formed Eye of Terror, he managed to return his people to the greater galaxy after the opening of the Great Rift, although they remain distrusted by many other Eldari due to their time spent in the shadow of chaos. While the Dark Reapers focus on long-range destruction, some Eldari prefer to take the fight directly to the most heavily armored of their foes, the Fire Dragons. Styling themselves after the dragons of Eldar myth, the Fire Dragons emulate the mythical beasts by reveling in wanton, fiery destruction. Using their fusion guns, they can turn even the toughest armor into dripping hunks of slag. While less effective against hordes of lightly armored foes, if put up against power-armored Space Marines or against tanks, they shine brighter than their distinctive orange armor. Foes as varied as the tankers of the Imperial Guard and the battlesuit pilots of the Tau Empire have learned to dread the sight of them. for years of training have given them an instinctive, even spiritual, understanding of where to strike a vehicle or fortification in order to cause the most damage possible. Fugan, the Burning Lance, is the Phoenix Lord of the Fire Dragons. Possibly the Phoenix Lord who most embodies their obsession with warfare. It is said that he will be the last one to fall in the final battle against Chaos. Traveling through the Webway, he emerges only when it serves his cause, tracking down ancient enemies of the Eldar to burn to ash. He is armed with Searsong, a fire pike, and his fire axe. As you can tell, he really loves his fire.
That's where I saw the leprechaun.
Right, a leprechaun.
He told me to burn things.
While the Fire Dragons take the direct approach in warfare, other aspects focus more on misdirection. The Warp Spiders. Immediately recognizable with their red and white color scheme, armored backpacks containing a mini warp generator, and death spinner guns. The Warp Spiders take their name from a tiny insect that lives among the Wraithbone trees in a craft world's Dome of the Crystal Seers. Emulating the creature's ability to move anywhere within the craft world, the Warp Spiders use their warp generators to make short warp jumps, allowing them to vanish and reappear in a new location almost instantly, making them incredibly mobile and hard to pin down in close-range combat, and very useful for ambushes. This is not without risk, for the Warp is of course the home of Slaanesh, who hungers for Eldari's souls. Not every Warp Spider who makes their jump returns, some being devoured by the demons of She Who Thirsts. Due to undertaking this incredible risk, the Warp Spiders are considered to be the bravest of all the Aspect Warriors, and are highly respected by other Eldar. Their Phoenix Lord is Lycus, the Whispering Web, who just finally received a model for the first time a few months ago. She embodies Kane's willingness to risk it all for victory, and is seen as a bit of a daredevil. She's become far more active after being missing for much of M41. Armed with twin death spinners called the Brood Twain, twin monofilament injectors called the Spider's Fangs, and her sword Vadarkan, also called Weaverender, she has a fantastic model, which may actually be my favorite of all the Phoenix Lords. But while Lycus was long thought to be missing, the Phoenix Lord of this next aspect actually is. The Shining Spears. Riding into battle atop their jet pikes and white and blue plate, the Shining Spears act as elite cavalry for Eldar armies. Decades of training have left them with an intense level of control over their mechanical steeds, and they are able to use their laser lances to great effect on the battlefield. Constantly in motion, their persistent and devastating attacks have brought many foes to their knees. Their Phoenix Lord is Tristanta, the Tempest of Starlight, who is currently missing. Known for his hubris, he arrived late to a battle between Nakari, a greater demon of Slaanesh, and Asurman, which saw the Phoenix Lord killed. In his rage, the Lord of the Shining Spears cut the demon down with his weapon, the Celestial Lance. While Asurman, as an immortal Phoenix Lord, survived within his armor, Tristanta still elected to exile himself, leaving his weapon behind to be used by his followers when the need is great. For this final of the major aspect shrines, we have no information on who their founder even was. The Crimson Hunters. Among the rarest of the major aspect shrines, the Crimson Hunters are ace pilots, more skilled than any found among the lesser races of the galaxy. Using their Crimson Nightshade Interceptor fighters, they keep the sky clear for the warriors fighting on the ground below. Their shrines are not temples, but vast atriums connected by tunnels that float around the periphery of a craft world, giving the Crimson Hunters room to duel and train. As mentioned, their Phoenix Lord is unknown, although they are certainly one of the best star pilots to ever exist in the galaxy. So those are all the Aspect Warriors of the Eldar, or at least all of the main ones currently available in the game. They mostly have beautiful updated models now, so you don't even need to be embarrassed playing with them anymore, like you might have been a few years ago. The Aeldari have a ton of great lore, as you'd expect from one of the older and larger factions within the game. There's a lot to dig into with them. For a long time, the Eldar were a faction that I really didn't like. I just felt I could never get into them. But over these past few years, reading more and more about them, I've come to like them a lot more. I'd say that they're probably up there as one of my favorite factions now. I guess that's a lesson. If there is a faction that you have never really gotten on with, just really don't think you'd be into, give them a chance, read up a little bit about them. You might end up loving them, and if not, you can at least say that you tried. I really enjoyed making this first video on them, and I hope to make more on them soon. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments below. If this video inspired you to pick up some more models for your own craft world, I have an affiliate link with Geekery Games that you can use to get 5% off eligible orders. Just put in code DEPARTLORE at checkout. Each purchase also helps the channel, so if you're looking for a discount on some Warhammer kits, check them out. I'll put a link to them in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. For now, thank you and have a great day. Bye.